Welcome back to the Lap Podcast. I'm Tristan Ryans alongside Khaki Kevin Walker. This is episode 9 of season 2 of this edition of the Lap Podcast. We are your destination Formula One podcast as we head into the Miami Grand Prix weekend that also includes a sprint race. So if you haven't already, please like the podcast, hit subscribe. It costs you exactly $0.00 to support this channel. Helps us move on up the algorithm. Also, feel free to follow us on the socials. They're scrolling along the bottom of the screen below as we speak. If you're feeling dangerous, by the way, feel free to share us with your friends, your family, TLPs.
Well, let's take this moment to give a massive thank you to those who have already subscribed and those who have shared with your friends and your family. We're just under 30. We got 28 subscribers right now as we sit, April 30th of 2025. And to those 28 that aren't, 26, I guess, that aren't me and you, I guess. Thank you. We appreciate it. And we look at the analytics. We know who comes back to who watch and who watches and how long you watch. So we appreciate the support. We're just getting started. We're just growing. We were talking a little bit about some podcast editions before we started recording. So big things are still on the way. Big things are still coming. So to those that are tuning in and coming back, man, we appreciate y'all more than y'all know. So just, a big thank y'all to y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to the TLPs. But let's get this thing started right. There's some rumors. There's some speculation that the swearing ban.
Sorry for the technical delays, but we're trying to just describe what the FIA president is saying here. You can read it for yourself and stare at the image as long as you need. But yes, this is what we were trying to say.
And even up to championship point deductions for this conduct. So the idea that they could be potentially changing course on this is, I would say, kind of promising. It's half full, I would say, that we could very well see this happening. What are you thinking about it?
I think that it needs to happen. We kind of talked about it earlier, or not earlier, but like earlier on in the podcast, earlier on in the year, how look, these are pro athletes. These are guys that are racing in high intensity environments. You don't want to restrict them and make them feel like they can't be themselves or they can't express their true emotions, their true expressions, right? And you also don't want drivers walking around on their tippy toes trying to not curse and not like it's kind of crazy. Like, not to cross reference, but the NFL doesn't, like, other than if you're cussing at like press conferences and stuff like that, like, that's one thing, but be cursing on the radio calls and all those different things, like that high intensity, you're driving upwards of 200 plus miles an hour, like,
which so far, by the way, everything seems to have been pretty discretionary, right? I think contextually speaking, we haven't heard of
anything.
Nobody's actually had this penalty enforced, at least in Formula One, but the World Rallying Championships have actually seen a couple of these handed down, enough so that the entire sport, if I'm not mistaken, took a big stand against doing press until these rules were reconsidered or changed, or they came to some level of agreement with their stewardship. And I'm not entirely versed on this. If you know more about it, TLPs, feel free to please just drop it down in the comments below. Give us some more information, educate us. But I know there was a big hubbub about it in the World Rallying Championships. A lot of the drivers in Formula One, already the likes of a Max Verstappen, don't feel like they can already speak their minds anyway.
Right.
There are already limitations when it comes to, handling sponsors, stuff like that, trying to be semi-political with how you say things. But on top of that, when asked for their genuine criticisms, they don't feel like they can express themselves fluently or fully, excuse me. And honestly, I do think this is kind of a half full statement to be releasing in the slightest. I think it's trying to gain favor. If you're Mohammed Ben Sulayem, saying you're thinking about doing something instead of just doing it, becoming more lenient on this, actually seeing effective change. It feels like he's kind of farming for some level of popularity, for some levels of goodwill that realistically aren't actually there. It's like me saying, I don't know, hey Kevin, I'm really thinking about giving you $500.
I would appreciate that.
Okay, but I'm just thinking about it.
Oh. So when are you going to make a decision?
I'm just thinking about it.
Oh. So when are you going to make a decision?
I'm just thinking about it. It builds up this level of desire, but you're not actually doing it. You know what I mean? It's like gaslighting.
Don't tease. Well, that's exactly what it is. Don't tease the fans. Don't tease the drivers and the sport as a whole. Like, hey, like, we know that y'all been pretty outspoken about this, and you know what? After further consideration, maybe we were a little hard, but maybe we weren't. So we'll still think on it. Like, they need to make a decision. And Formula One's a sport where they make decisions pretty quick and they kind of make them effective immediately, which, well, like, this is something that somebody like him, he could just be like, hey, like, this is, we're going to be a little bit more lenient on this situation. And then it's going to be, hey, that's in writing and done. Boom.
Look, because members of the media, generously speaking, like ourselves, we want those moments, we want those nuggets, and we want those sound bites really from the drivers. Heat of the moment. The media is doing a pretty good job. F1 TV, Sky Sports, they're doing a pretty solid job of, censoring the cuss words on live broadcast already.
But that's why
there is a prior review there before they even broadcast these things. But, there are obviously going to be some gray areas where these levels of enforcement could come down from the powers that be.
But that's why we watch, we go in there and we watch Drive to Survive, and we watch all these different documentaries, is because we want to see the behind the scenes. We want to see the cursing. We want to see the intense
we want those emotions. Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want. So don't take it away.
Yeah, 100%. I think that all these guys and all these drivers and all these members of team personnel understand discretion, but at the same time, as fans, we don't need the sport to parent, right? We don't need them to babysit. We don't need them to handhold. At the end of the day, it's a decision to watch this and to enjoy this, and everything is still discretionary. These are professionals at the end of the day as well.
Yeah.
And the judgment calls are being made appropriately so far. Thankfully, there haven't been any actual infractions so far. However, there is going to be room for these things to either be enforced heavily, or if you back off on them now, don't even make that a possibility to affect this championship. I think it would just be for the betterment of the sport. Overall, it would lead to a much more loose, candid experience. We would get a little bit more from the drivers that are already pretty reserved, for being completely honest. And to kind of start wrapping on this, I think there is a motive behind this announcement. I think there's a little bit of a political motivation behind this, because Soleim is not a very popular figure among racing fans, at least that I know of. If you're a fan of Mohammed Ben Sulayem, I mean, feel free to tell me that I'm wrong. But he is up for re-election as the FIA president this December amid a number of resignations and departures from within the FIA. There's been a lot of speculation that the leadership have been leaving because of him, because of the way that he is leading the organization, because of the way that Sulayem, does his job, and a lot of discomfort within the powers that be. So it sounds like there are some murmurs that there could be some other people potentially being nominated to take that position later on this year. There's been a rumor that maybe Susie Wolf, who leads the F1 Academy, may be nominated to take that position. But so far, he doesn't have any challengers, maybe trying to win back some goodwill. But at the end of the day, it's half full, and I'm really just not a big fan of it. We do have a race this weekend, though. We had the Miami Grand Prix, and I wanted to hop into a couple of storylines. Can Lando Norris run it back, or will Oscar Piastri play spoiler? We've got another weekend of the McLaren drivers going head to head. But I did want to actually bring something into. I got you a little something, Kevin. I was thinking about you this week, and honestly, I got you something. I just wanted to hand this to you in front of our. Yeah.
It's the chrome one.
It is the chrome one
from last year.
Yes.
The MCL 60.
It is
from
pretty
the
sick.
British Grand Prix.
Something fun to think of before we dive into this. Last week, I made him a little upsetty spaghetti. He even dropped an F-bomb on the podcast. So I wanted to, gesture of goodwill. It's all just in fun.
I'll try to.
But yeah, these things are pretty sick.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I mean, Barago doesn't sponsor the podcast or anything, but they do make a hell of a.
Unless you want to.
They do make a hell of an F1 car. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not
gonna
lie.
All open for sponsorships here.
100%. But look, as we walk into this Grand Prix weekend, the battle between the two McLaren drivers.
That's all I'm here for. So I'm gonna go ahead.
The battle between the two McLaren drivers is going to remain an ongoing theme this season, and it's continuing in South Beach, in Miami, around Hard Rock Stadium. And this weekend, I think it's a kind of a clashing opportunity. Lando Norris got his first win of his Formula One career here last year.
This time last year was a big day for me because I remember I was working here. I was doing some kind of show or whatever, and I was watching the race. And I just remember that moment where Lando won. And it was just, for me, it was like all the pressure that he felt. I mean, definitely it was weight off his shoulders, but it was weight off mine too. Right? Because I sit here and I clamor and I clamor and I clamor for Lando Norris and his championship aspirations and all those things. And I'm sure we're about to get into that. But even just back then when I was like, look, Lando's a championship level driver, but has no wins. And so it's kind of hard to, piece that argument together. But, winning Miami, no matter how it was done, was not only a massive turning point for the season as a whole, but it was just a big day for McLaren fans all around. You got to remember,
I think it was a big day for Formula One overall.
Before that moment, McLaren had done no winning, right? Yeah. Like it had been a long time. And like you said, it was a big moment for F1 because it was like, whoa, Max didn't win. And Red Bull didn't dominate the weekend. So that was a big weekend. It was a big moment. So I definitely remember the Miami Grand Prix will always hold a special place in my heart for that.
Look, I think Formula One fans across the board were fond of that moment, right? Seeing Lando finally get that win, even under like the circumstances were a little bit wonky at the time, but like we got to see that McLaren were for real. Like they made good decisions that led them into the final, finally taking the top step for the first time since a win in Monza with Daniel Ricciardo. And it was a huge moment, but as we walk back in, the question really is going to be, can Lando Norris run it back? Can he do what he did last year, this time a little bit more prominently? The car is better this year, right? These are the questions we're going to be asking of Lando Norris, especially as he tries to make up for what could very well have gone his way in Saudi Arabia, a potential race win going the other way of his teammate. And Norris currently sits 10 points behind Piastri, so there's actual gravity when it comes to the championship. Could he pull together a strong weekend, either tighten that gap or completely leapfrog back over Oscar Piastri? What are you thinking?
I think it's going to be a really hard weekend to do it. One, you look back last year, Oscar Piastri had the fastest lap. Oscar had also like I just said, that McLaren car hit a turning point this time last year, and so did Oscar as well. He just didn't get the race win, but this time last year, coming out of Miami, I should say, Oscar had the fastest lap of the race. So it's not like Oscar is just going to play second fiddle to Lando and let him win Miami for the second year in a row. And let's be clear, neither is Max, right? Yeah. Like Max
is a two-time winner here. We're going to talk about more of the history of Miami a little bit later coming up.
Yeah, but so I say all that to say that it's going to be really rough for Lando to do it. It's not like, oh, this is Lando's. I don't feel as though this is Lando's race to win. I think this is Lando's race to compete. And I do believe that he needs to walk away with a win.
This to me,
but Oscar can poise a big time fight in Miami. Like this could literally be a McLaren 1-2 where they're literally battling each other.
I think for Lando, this is a huge prove it opportunity because you've won here in the past. Like this is supposed to be, if you're Lando Norris anyway, with that precedent being set from last year. Hey, like I can do it here. I know that I can do it here. That takes a little bit of the weight off. Right.
Or for those out there that want to say that it was a fluke win, he didn't deserve it. Well, then he can come out here and be like, "Well,
yeah, go take it. Go take it for yourself.
That this is my win, and I'm going to do it again."
But it also backs people off like myself, right? Like last week, we got into it pretty heavily. My stance on Lando Norris, and I still do feel this way, that he is not a championship level driver and within his own team at the moment.
Right,
super talented, but it feels like an Oscar kind of season right now, and this could be a huge moment in the season, especially early, to tell the fans, to tell the TLPs, to tell like-minded individuals like me that I'm worth it and I'm made for it. And I have that edge that you see in a Lando Norris, that I am a championship level driver. And this is a moment for him to prove doubters wrong. And this is, again, a destination where he's won before. He knows he can do it here. I'm really curious to see what kind of form that Lando is going to bring. I really am.
And last thing, this would also be a really good chance for him to kind of like shake it off his shoulders a little bit. He had a really bad stretch, a really bad 3-week stretch that, you know, Oscar dominated. And we talked about that last week. And this is kind of an opportunity for Lando. And I know I saw.
Well, you could argue 4-week, really, because he hasn't won since Australia.
Exactly. So, and I also saw that Lando took some time off and got away and kind of recouped himself, which is good. You need that as a driver. But I think this week is a week where Lando can kind of rebloom, reblossom, and kind of like, hey, like, you know, I know I had a bad stretch there, but I'm still Lando effing Norris, and I can still win. So
yeah, and
we'll see what happens.
And as far as his teammate across the garage in Oscar Piastri, this is the first time in his career where he's walking into a Grand Prix weekend as the World Drivers' Championship leader.
Yeah,
and it's not like it's a huge gap and he's been doing this for a while. This is the first time that he's going to have this feeling of I'm the one who's being hunted. I'm the one who's got a Max Verstappen breathing down my neck. I'm the one who's got Lando Norris, my teammate, coming after what's mine, right? Or George Russell or Kimi Antonelli or Lewis Hamilton or Charles Leclerc, right? You've got everybody. You've got 19 other drivers and you've got 9 other teams. That's entire mission is going to be making sure that you don't win. So how do you handle that pressure? Oscar so far has been a cool cucumber, right? Very collected character. But this is a different experience. This is going to be a very different experience within not just himself, but within the McLaren team. Oh, this is the turning of a bit of a tide here. Lando Norris is not our front runner as it stands. Oscar Piastri is. How does that get dictated within the team? How does that look? There's going to be a lot of questions to answer coming out of this weekend. I think there's a lot more on the line in this Grand Prix weekend than maybe a couple of us or members of the media or other people within this podcasting space may be speculating. I'm really, really excited. And we get 2 opportunities to do that this weekend, seeing what a sprint win might look like for this team, seeing what the Grand Prix feature race win might look like for this team. We got another team I did want to talk about for our storylines this weekend, and that is going to be the Scuderia Ferrari, one driver in particular, Lewis Hamilton. Can he pull together a stronger weekend? This article here from The Athletic kind of breaks down some of the details that Lewis has been, struggling with. The 7-time champion has been struggling since the Chinese sprint race where he did take the top step, so to speak. He's expressing a lot of discomfort within this car. Insider Alex Brundle even noting that Lewis isn't as confident into the corners, has shown literal signs of increased braking, not quite as much, confidence going into high-speed cornering, low-speed cornering, etc. In turn, it's making him lose speed all across the board. Lewis in Saudi Arabia, where he won the first ever Grand Prix with Mercedes, finished 31 seconds behind his teammate. Post-race expressed that it was going to be a tough season ahead, saying, and I quote, "If this is how it's going to be for the rest of the year, it's going to be painful." So with all that in mind, how put yourself in Lewis's shoes, Kevin? Like how do you walk into this weekend and try to rebuild some kind of confidence?
The way that I try to build confidence is just trying to improve on whatever you think the car can do. He made it clear that he was going to work on it, and that he wasn't going to take time off, and he was going to do his best to prove that Ferrari was good and that they could get better. And so I guess for me, if I'm Lewis,
there are other drivers.
Yeah. if I'm Lewis, I'm just trying to get 110% out of the car and make it perform better than what I'm expecting for that weekend.
Yeah, I mean, because overall, he's about the middle of the pack as far as, drivers trailing their teammates on qualifying pace, the average being a little over 0.3 of a second between him and Leclerc. The last 2 weekends, they've been tougher. He's been behind in qualifying by over half a second. So the car characteristics seem to have kind of pulled away from Lewis. He's not quite meeting the car as it progresses. Since the upgrades came in Bahrain, it's like there was a reset within Lewis, within this car. Familiarizing yourself over the first 3 to 4 weekends, the first 3 to 4, race point scoring formats, and then seeing that car fundamentally change out from underneath you, it's a whole nother learning curve. And the way that this car already behaves was a whole learning curve all on its own. Look, Lewis is an all-timer. He's in a new team, and we all understand that there's going to be growing pains for Lewis Hamilton within this new situation. But I think, in all honesty, and the reality of this situation is this is really just going to be a warm-up. For him, I think this is kind of a year you do punt. It's not going to be an easygoing season. I think if he lands a couple of podiums here and there, like that's going to be something to build on. That's going to be a confidence booster. I don't think he's going to necessarily do it here in Miami. Ferrari have had some strong performances here, but no wins. I think overall, 2025, if you're Lewis Hamilton, chalk it up in the books already. This is going to be learning the infrastructure. This is going to be growing pains. This is going to be learning how the team walks through its procedures. What does A, B, C, plan D, plan E look like? What do all of these things mean? Getting familiarized with Maranello and your engineer. So this is going to be a year where the expectations are going to be a lot lower. Depending on how Ferrari walk into 2026, things could look drastically different. But if you're Lewis Hamilton, this particular weekend, I think the target goal has to be, I would say, P5. Leclerc got a P3. It was a lot of work to get there, but it can be done. So if you're Lewis Hamilton, I think a very fair goal week in, week out is going to be fighting P5. If you're around P7 to P8, that's probably a rough weekend, right? For Lewis Hamilton in this Ferrari.
I would say P5 is what you have to have because
it's attainable.
Charles, because we've already said they got the 4th and 5th probably fastest car respectively on the grid. So,
well, I'd say third to 4th, right? It depending on the weekend,
right?
4th to 5th would be quite a ways back.
Well, I guess I just mean placement wise between Charles and Lewis, the 4th and 5th. I would say placing 4th and 5th is not out of the ordinary. I would say for Lewis placing 5th, you got to. That would be improvement for the car, and for Charles, I mean, just trying to keep striving for another podium.
Yeah. 100%. Kevin had to step away for a quick moment to do some work stuff, but we are back in mid-podcast, of course. Look, I wanted to talk about the...
Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me, okay? I think some stuff.
Look, I was mid-momentum. I had my flow going, and this dude decides, hey, by the way, like, I need to stop the flow that you got going right now. I know you're cooking, but I'm going to need you to stop. I gotta recoup some of this aura you're spilling. So... it's Miami. There's some more things that are happening at Miami beyond things that are necessarily, race or performance perspective related. There are cosmetic things that are going to be happening around the Miami Grand Prix. Some special features. Steak has a new livery that they're going to be debuting for this race. A one-off, if I'm not mistaken. It's got a little bit of an interesting look to it. It kind of does. It kind of doesn't. As Kevin gets this. Okay, here it is. You had some pretty interesting thoughts on this.
Yeah, it looks like the Kids' Choice Awards from Nickelodeon.
The car got slimed.
I don't know. I think it looks better. I think yes, obviously it's the same green, it's the same concept, but I think it looks better because it's more sporadic. It's not so just all in one place. Like it looked. I didn't even notice this. They did slime on the wheel caps as well.
Yeah, it's.
I appreciate this livery.
I mean, I don't hate it. It looks fine. I don't think I would want to run it the entire season, but I think it's okay. It's definitely not my favorite.
Well, I'm not saying it's my favorite. I enjoy this more than what they normally have. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, what they normally have is just kind of a gradient fade.
But that's what I'm saying. Like this is a little bit more exciting than a fade.
At this point, they could have just taken it and done like a full camo.
I like the slime.
But you
I like the slime.
Katy Perry getting the Kids' Choice Awards surprise slime.
You can name any celebrity back then that got slimed in the Kids' Choice Awards. Like it's gonna happen. But I like it. For me personally, I like it. I think it looks nice. I think it looks sleek.
I think I get sleek. I think I give it like a 4 out of 10. That's me personally.
4 out of 10.
Ferrari are also dropping a special livery.
Talk about 4 out of 10.
If you remember my rankings preseason for the liveries, you're not going to be more enthused about my opinions.
Let's talk about the kits first.
You want to talk about the kits? I mean, I didn't realize that Charles and Lewis were racing for V-Carb,
dude,
or the Racing Bulls this weekend.
James Vowles is doing a hell of a job at Williams, man. I tell you what,
I can't believe he got both of those guys.
He got Lewis, he got Charles, and he got Carlos.
Or I can reset this joke and say the exact same punchline with Williams. I mean, excuse me, I said V-Carb and you went Williams. So yeah, I mean, this is overall, I don't hate these kits. They're okay.
The kits are cool.
The kits by themselves look cool, but the car is where it underdelivers. This is the big unveil of the Miami Grand Prix special livery that they teased, and it's more underwhelming than last year.
Let me click a button.
I'm sorry. It's more underwhelming than last year's. Last year, they were like, oh, we have these cool blue, kits as well. They look really nice. Then they threw blue stripes down the car, and we were like, oh, we're all kind of disappointed. It looks okay. Not much to write home about. I would write home that this looks disgusting.
This is an awful car.
What none of us were asking for was more HP logo. Just commit to the blue and white if you're going to do blue and white. If they would have done equal amounts of blue and white that they did on the kits, that they did on the car, it would have looked better. But no, they went, let's middle of the road and make it look disgusting.
This is awful.
I'm not a fan.
Terrible looking car.
I hate it.
The thing that I hate most about it is the blue wheel caps. Why in the hell do you have blue wheel caps when your car is red? It's supposed to be red.
I'm just saying, commit to the bit.
Has anyone ever heard of Ferrari red? And you're taking away from it in the worst way possible.
I'm just saying, commit to the bit or don't. Don't go half in. This is stupid.
Like, I can't read most of these because some of these comments.
I want to say curse words, but I can't.
Some of these comments are in Spanish, but like a lot of them are saying like, just do the blue. If you're gonna do blue, just do blue.
Yeah. There's one here that says just delete. Some of the comments up top are probably a little bit more. Yeah, not satisfied button. I think I'll like that for you. This is bad. This is bad. So
this is awful. Kids, okay, whatever.
It's so bad. You pointed this out pre-podcast while we were doing the preparations that HP posted this on their Instagram before Ferrari did.
Ferrari hasn't even posted it yet.
That says something.
Like,
look, I know HP gave Ferrari a bag. They gave them a bag.
Oh, you had to give them a bag.
They gave them a bag.
This is,
but guys, this is Italian. This is an Italian motorsports team. We can't put the art into this.
What are we doing, guys?
We can't put some culture into this.
This is awful.
I'm not a fan. The kits look cool. The car looks stupid. But you know who did absolutely kick ass going into the Miami Grand Prix? The Miami Vice edition. Let's start with the kits. Yeah, let's start with the kits. So V-Carb debuted some pretty badass new kits. Pink on pink, gradient pink. That's just sexy.
I like it.
It's sexy. I'm a fan. I love it.
It looks good.
I would rock. I'm not even a Racing Bulls fan, but like if somebody got me this shirt as a gift, I would rock it.
And you know what? It works perfectly. And they do a promo here. It works perfectly because it also helps showcase the drink that Red Bull just came out with their pink.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it's the...
Like, you're more of a Red Bull, drink guy than I am.
Yeah, but it's like the Miami Vice pink, right? But it also coincides with their new flavor of pink.
Works.
It works perfect.
It works so well. And we got to see, I think somebody was leaking the livery. Take this with a grain of salt if this isn't the official livery by the time this actually posts. But we got a chance to see, if I'm not mistaken, what the actual livery looks like. As of recording, I mean, we hadn't seen an official.
We can only hope.
But this looks so sick. V-Carb,
we don't have
the Racing Bulls.
We don't have an official source for this just because it got leaked. But if this is really what it looks like, it even has the summer Red Bull, a drink here on the wing.
This is sexy, man. I love it.
It looks so nice.
I love it so much.
The chrome Red Bull on it, it just looks so good.
We normally will complain when it comes to the Red Bull teams, how they don't really change much. The primary Red Bull team, generally speaking, doesn't do a lot of
I said, they might add a palm tree or something.
Yeah, they're not terrifyingly creative, but Racing Bulls, man, they got it.
They've been on it all year long.
I really love the Red Bull, the Japanese livery they did.
True. Yeah,
that was sick, but I still love the V-Carb primary livery the most, I probably would say, this season. And it's got to be top 3. It's got to be top 3 this season.
Of the season?
The full season.
1,000, I would
This is sick.
I would agree.
I love this. You know what? I know the performance doesn't necessarily change, but if you're a football fan or you'll understand this from sports overall, look good, play good, look good, feel good, play good. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out Dion.
Yeah, some Deion Sanders shout outs. If you have that, you're going to probably drive. I think, you know what? I wonder if we can find the data on this. I want to compare last week's qualifying times
to
this week's qualifying times and see if they're even just a hair better between Lawson and Hadjar. I almost guarantee you they will
You
be.
think they go faster in pink?
Yes, I think they do. I think they go faster because if you're going to change the livery and you're going to make it look different, and they made it look this good, I mean, that's just going to jazz you up. Mercedes have dropped some team kits. They might be dropping a livery. So far, we haven't seen it yet. I saw that their Formula One Academy car,
Kimmy's rocking this. One
yeah, their F1 Academy car does have a new livery
nice
concept
little
on it.
pink cap.
I like the cap. I don't know that I love the team kit. Personally,
I want to see how it looks with the car.
I like it with the actual stripes around the collars and the sleeves. Personally, if I had to pick one of those two,
Man, I'm so happy for this Adidas.
but like the non like
partnership.
team kit actually looks sick.
I'm so happy with this Adidas partnership with F1 or with Mercedes. I wish, and I've spoke on this before.
Yeah,
I really want other big brands like Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, like other big brands to get in.
like scroll
F1.
up there.
This looks so good.
There's a shirt here in the middle, right? That we're looking at. Go up a little bit. Yeah, that one in the middle for $40. I would do it.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I like it. I'm a fan.
Now, granted, it's a women's tee, so you're probably gonna have to size up. But like even then, like like these look good. Like I really enjoy.
Or no,
these.
is that the men's on the right side there?
Which one?
Go back.
This one right here. Yeah, this one's the men. Oh, that's kids.
We'll figure it out. But no,
this
like
one's the men's. It's
45.
I mean,
I might do it for 45.
it's a good quality shirt. Like it's gonna be Adidas. So
yeah,
I really love this collab. I think Adidas has done a really incredible job with.
I'm excited
Mercedes.
to see what else they might do in the future because this is a really good start.
I mean,
I'm not the biggest fan of the team shirt,
If
but
Kimmy doesn't want to make you buy this, then I don't know what will.
I mean, he's rocking it. He's absolutely rocking it.
There's
So
a slight $150.
absolutely smooth, crisp 150. I got a birthday in August. Heads up. So look, that was pretty cool. We have some more features coming along. If that livery for Mercedes ends up dropping and it looks similar to the one they did for the F1 Academy, I think it'll probably look pretty good too. You guys can go out of your way to find that one yourselves. Some other news between the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix and this weekend's Miami Grand Prix. Mercedes, speaking of which, let's start there. They have a documentary coming to Netflix May 5th called The Seat. It's going to follow the decision to turn the seat over from Lewis Hamilton over to Kimi Antonelli in the wake of Lewis Hamilton's departure. We can't play the full trailer for you, unfortunately, because, we want to make sure that we can actually post
this. Is a really cool snapshot of it, though. I mean,
yeah,
we'll do this.
Yeah,
it just kind of
some stills from it.
Grab some stills. Hopefully, we don't get copyright. That's a nice little picture of Kimmy.
Yeah, and it's in a collaboration with one of their sponsors, WhatsApp. It's
coming out
be
May 5th on Netflix. So with the Netflix production that it's going to be really good.
Now, obviously, I'm excited. Kimmy's my boy, right? We've established this on the pod. How are you feeling about this? Are you gonna go out of your way to watch it?
I love sports documentaries, and especially the more and more recognition we can get around F1. And I think that this was a really big decision. We talked about a lot of names that could possibly drive for Mercedes, and you were obviously the bigger advocate for Kimmy. I think that this is going to be really exciting to watch, especially with it being so quick. Like they didn't hey, this is coming out next year. Like this, hey, we're like a month or what May 5th. So yeah, we're like right around the corner from this thing coming out. Mm-hmm. So it's probably not going to be long, maybe an hour and a half or so, but
I'd be surprised if it's even that long.
Right. So, but I'm still excited for it. Anytime you can get it in depth, like we said, it behind the scenes look, a little bit of raw, real what's going on behind the scenes, some of the real expressions, some of the maybe Kimmy was scared, maybe Kimmy wasn't ready. I don't know. We'll find all those out, but I'm really excited for it. The Seat on May 5th.
That looks fun. I mean, it's going to add to more F1 media. Of course, you've got the Drive to Survive series that has skyrocketed the popularity of the sport. Hell, this podcast probably doesn't exist if we weren't introduced to the sport through that. It's created a lot of passion for the sport. There's also the F1 movie dropping this summer. So like F1 media wise, even outside of just the sport itself, is really leaning hard on, the what is it? There's an audience for all of the media that they're putting out. There's going to be somebody who wants to go watch this. Some other news: Mexico extended on the F1 calendar through 2028. That's some pretty exciting. That's a pretty exciting race. Really passionate fans. The Mexican fan base there. Even though Checo Perez is not going to be on the grid this season, we could very well see him on the grid next year with Cadillac.
They might be having announced it.
I mean, there have been some talks. So I'm not going to say
they put out an announcement for an announcement. So
they did. Yeah. They also have a May 5th, if I'm not mistaken. And they have like a May announcement coming up too. Cadillac's got some stuff cooking. So of course you could stick around here on the podcast. We will absolutely be talking about everything major in the sport. But yeah, Mexico is going to be sticking around throughout 2028, excuse me. And that's going to be pretty exciting. You had something else you wanted to talk about here. Is it appropriate here, or should I move on to the next segment?
Let's go ahead and take it over to, and I'll do it. Don't worry. I'll do the honors. We're going to go ahead and take it over to Kev Talks Track, or as we have properly noted here, Track Talk, Miami International Autodrome.
Yeah.
Now, I was scrolling on the interwebs, the social medias of the world, and I came across this post by Paddock Passion. So hopefully it's true, Paddock Passion. Hopefully you're not stirring me wrong here, but I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. So I think this is really interesting and something that I wanted to make note of. So before we had the circuit that we have today around Hard Rock Stadium, apparently this was the first proposed layout for the Miami Grand Prix, and it was supposed to be at the Miami port instead.
Okay.
And so what this was, it was a track that was supposed to go across the water. So this one got denied. This was back in 2019. This one got denied, and they workshopped it and changed it a little bit. And so then
because I'm not a fan of the first one.
Right. And
it looks like a deflated ball.
Right. Okay. That's not what you said off air. So then they changed it a little bit.
It's got a deflated ball.
So it goes.
Go back so they can see what I'm talking about. If you see it, you got, left one's great. Right one used to be there.
Anyway, so they amended, they changed it to this layout.
This I like
still over the water.
It's kind of giving Monaco.
Goes around this this little like bayfront park area right here. I'm not going to pretend that I know about Miami like that, but I think a drive over the water would be cool. And then obviously it got re-amended. I don't know if that's
amended again, probably would be the way you say
amended plus. And then obviously now we have it around the Hard Rock Stadium.
This isn't even the new layout or the prompt, the layout we have officially either. So this is the step in the next direction. And then is there anything else after that, or is that it?
No, that's it. Those were just the three slides that I wanted to show you.
Okay.
So I thought those were I found that little tidbit to be pretty interesting. So
okay. Break it down, fam.
Miami Grand Prix is 19 corners, 57 laps, 3 DRS zones. So there's plenty of room for overtaking. Top speeds near 220 miles per hour or 350 kilometers for our European folk. 5.41 kilometers around the track for one lap, to be specific. It is around the Miami Dolphins Hard Rock Stadium, so that's going to be kind of in the background as they drive along. And it has that long straight heading into that final corner. Of course, that's going to be poised for most of the overtaking possibilities and where that high speed is going to be at the advantage of the driver. This is the third year running for the Miami Grand Prix in
4th year. This will be the 4th year.
4th year?
Mm-hmm. This is the 4th year.
We're going to edit that out.
No, we're not.
No, we won't.
No, we're not.
No. Okay. Well, so 2023 lap record belongs to Max Verstappen of 1 minute 29 and 7/10. Lando's maiden win, as we talked about earlier, was this time last year in Miami. Max won the past 2 years.
First 2 years.
What?
Yeah, no, you said past 2 years. No, the first 2 years of the Grand Prix went to Max.
That's why I said the past 2 years.
No.
Oh, the 2 years prior.
Yeah.
Oh, math.
Semantics.
Math. Okay.
It's okay.
I think the people know what I'm trying to say here. God, you're just ruining me. I was on a roll. Even if I was wrong, I was still on a roll. Piastri set the fastest lap last year during the race. I did have a question for you, though. Never mind, because I didn't write the answer down.
What was your question?
When did Miami host its first ever race? And it lasted 3 years during its time.
I don't know.
Actually,
you don't know either, apparently.
I think it was 1980. I want to say it was like 1987.
Kev Talks Track Scuffed Edition.
Anyway, so that's all I got.
TLPs, you can tell us in the comments below. You have the power of Google, the same that awful. Kevin.
I think it was 1987. It was late 1980s.
Well, we appreciate you doing your best.
That was awesome.
Look, I want to say I do have like a bit of a tiff with this track personally. And it makes it sound like this thing, like, had some vendetta against me. I'm not a big fan of this track for one small section of the track, and I just have a criticism of it I wanted to highlight. It is cool. I do like the setting. I think it is a fun place to have a race. It's in the car park, or the parking lot, excuse me, of Hard Rock Stadium, which is, kind of a mixed, bag, if you like the parking lot aspect or not. But turns 14 and 15, there's a chicane there, and I absolutely am not a fan of it.
You just wish they would get rid of it?
I want them to get rid of it. It's kind of a blind spot. If you've ever raced on one of the simulations of this specific area of the circuit, in my personal opinion, I think they just need to eliminate it. It slows the cars down unnecessarily for no reason. If you could just connect that leaning left straight into the left turn for the long straight, I think that makes a lot more sense. It keeps the racing a lot more interesting. It kind of bottlenecks traffic there as well. So let's say you're behind a slower car, you're trying to catch somebody ahead. It bottlenecks traffic in a way that the guy ahead of you, or the driver ahead of you, if they're aggressively slower, you're kind of stuck relying on them to get through that chicane, through that section of the track before hitting that straight. Now, strongly enough, this is the part of for you to
This is the part of the track where it snakes, right? Where it does like that.
No. It's after that. So before the mega straight, the big long straight towards the end of the lap, it's right before that section. I wish they would just kill that chicane, because it's also a little bit of a blind turn. Like, you're coming up over to the front part of that chicane, the initial turn 14.
I think there's also
turn 15 goes back down a little bit, and then you have turn 16.
I think there's a bit of an elevation change as well going into that.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So instead, I want them to just kill it. And this is maybe even to the chagrin maybe of a Red Bull fan or Max Verstappen fan, because Max, messed up the floor of his Red Bull last year, which partially cost him the win last year, because he went over and hit the bollard in this section.
Yeah.
No, so this would be me advocating that, make it easier. But it more or less, I like the rest of this layout. It's cool. It's a good setting. It's in a cool place. I just hate that chicane. Okay. That's just my personal opinion. We got one more section of this episode to go, though. P10. Let's recap. Saudi Arabia did not quite go well for you.
Yeah, it never does.
Yeah, Russell didn't do anything for me, but yeah. It just didn't go well for you. So, yeah, tough day. 63 points to 33 points. In fact, actually.
Yeah, I'm down by 30. You don't have to do the math. I'm down by 30.
I think I might have messed up the scoring here, in fact, but I'm definitely ahead still. It didn't go well for either of us, really. Norris didn't win. Tsunoda crashed out. Tsunoda crashed out on me. Gasly only got me like a point or something like that. So my score is wrong here, but you're still correct. This week, though, Pierre Gasly is going to be my P10 prediction. What about you?
My P10 prediction is Alex Albon.
You got Alex Albon?
I feel like I'm just going to continually ride with the Williams guys, and then one of them is going to hit, and it's going to be a big weekend for me.
My first retirement, I'm going to go with Liam Lawson.
I'm going with none. I got no retirements. You know why?
Why?
We had one retirement last year. Do you know who it was?
Sargent.
And we don't have him on track this year. So we got no retirements.
I thought he took out Kevin Magnussen in that crash. So technically 2 retirements.
From what I understand, or from what I remember, I don't think Magnussen actually DNF'd. I think he actually finished the race.
Oh, okay. You might remember that better than me. Who you got winning?
I had a winner, and then I changed my mind mid-podcast.
I've gone back and forth on this too.
I think we're going back and forth on the same person.
Who? You going to take Lando?
While I do know that Lando can win here, I just think it's sneakily Oscar can kind of spoil it. But with that, I do think that even if Oscar wins, I think that Lando can still turn around and make this season his. It's tough.
I got you this nice toy.
I know it is. I know it's tough. I can't sit here and advocate for Lando over and over and over and over again,
and then pick against
literally
him.
Pick Oscar. Who are you doing? Who are you taking?
Why?
Well, I mean, it's not going to affect my decision at all.
It sounds like it's going to. 100%
I'm
sounds
trying
like it's going
to build myself time.
For me, I am going to go with Oscar Piastri. I went back and forth on this. Lando did win here last year, but then I remembered all of my comments about him succumbing to pressure and how Oscar hasn't so far.
Lando wins it.
So you're going to take Norris?
Lando wins it.
Did I bait you into that?
No, I'm sitting here and I'm just like, no, man. F
Nah,
the
man.
pressure.
I have
F the
faith.
pressure. F the last 4 weeks. We're going out. We're winning Miami. Who cares?
Kevin with his undying faith of Lando Norris.
I'm gonna go down.
You're going down swinging?
We're going down swinging with 4, baby.
All right. We can kill that.
Four's up. Four's up.
We can kill that. Look, that's all we got for this week. Next week, we are recapping the Miami Grand Prix, talking all the track madness, the drama, the fallout. Who's going to be right? Who's going to be wrong? We're going to find that out. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It costs you absolutely nothing at all. Help support the channel. And if you've watched this far into the podcast and you're not subscribed, I mean, what are you doing? Please, absolutely give us some support. Share it with your friends if you're feeling dangerous. And check us out on all the socials. They've been at the bottom of the screen this whole time. Interact with us. Say hi. Give us a shout out. They're right there at the bottom of the screen. I'm Tristan Ryans. This is Khaki Kevin Walker. Until next time, be safe, be well, and let's go racing.